Hello everyone and welcome back to Arctic Retro. In today's video I have another broken microcomputer from the 80s to take a look at. You might see it already standing there in its box. I have tested it briefly before when I got it. I think the keyboard doesn't work and there was some issues with it, but I'm not really sure. That's what I'm gonna find out in this video and see if I can fix it. Yes, and it's a Texas Instruments home computer, and you might have seen it before. It's a TI-99 4A. I have made one video about this before, maybe two, long time ago, at least 3-4 years ago. This computer was not at all common in Norway back in the day. I'm not sure if it was even sold here. This is the fourth TI-99 4A that I have, and they all come with American power supply. None of them have Norwegian. I bought this from a guy here in Norway who sold it alongside a couple of other machines, and I think he imported it from the United States back in the day. The box looks very nice. It's not that worn. Yeah, here we have it. As you can see, it could connect to a lot of external peripherals, telephone coupler, joysticks, some expansion on the side, and this big cabinet, it's called a PEB. Here you could attach more memory and hard drive, I think, stuff like that. I don't have such a thing, but I have an emulator for that thing that I might test out in this video. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. In my videos I often have the need for some PCBs for my projects, and my favorite PCB manufacturer is of course PCBWay. If you need to have produced your own PCBs, then just head over to PCBWay, where you can upload your Gerber files directly, or you can choose from a wide variety of ready-made PCB designs. And check out PCBWay 8 project design contest that has started now, where you can compete with electronics, mechanical and AIoT projects. If you have good ideas there, you can now participate and win great prizes. So go ahead and visit PCBWay.com and check out their services. Yeah, what does it say? A wide range of programs exist for the Texas Instruments. I don't know an awful lot about this computer. From a technical standpoint, it was quite weak compared to other machines, even though it contains a 16-bit CPU. It could only utilize 8-bit at the time, and there was something with the data bus and stuff that wasn't very well designed. It came with a couple of games. Yeah, it can run games from cartridge. And here's the strange power supply, which has this very unusual contact. It has 2 AC voltages in from this power supply to the computer. I think it's like 7 and 16 volts AC or something like that. 18 volts AC and 7.5 volts AC. So to use it I need to use a step down converter, since we run on 230 volts here. And that's what I have here. This computer is not possible to connect to my modern TV directly without a special cable, which I don't have, but it came with this RF modulator, an external RF modulator. However, it has some old style coaxial contact. I need to replace that with something else if I'm going to use that. Yeah, and here's a cassette cable, and that's actually like a joystick connector. And the actual machine is in here. Yeah, it looks alright. Besides that, I also got a lot of written material for this, the user reference guide, beginner's basic, and a couple of other brochures, even the receipt. Finally it came with a couple of original Texas Instruments joysticks. This looks to be some pretty bad joysticks, to be honest. Let me hook the machine up, take a look, see what happens. I did a note that the keyboard didn't work, so you couldn't really start it. Yeah, here's the ports on the back. That's the tape connector, I think. And here's the expansion port on the side, power connector and a video connector, which is a 5-pin DIN, which is strange because I have two other machines, exact same machines, but they have a 6-pin DIN connector for video, and for those I actually have a cable that I can connect to SCART, and here on the side it's the joystick. Anyway, for now I'm gonna use the TV modulator, and I need to make some arrangement to connect it to my TV. If I have the correct connectors and what I need, I'm gonna make a better cable with composite video output. If you have a regular antenna cable like this, you see it doesn't really fit, and this one doesn't fit on the back of my TV, so I cannot connect it directly. So the issue then is, how do I connect this to this? Well, there's an extra wire there. But I'm thinking about using an RCA connector like this. And this cable has been cut already, so I can just cut it more and then just strip this wire and screw it onto here, I guess. So I stripped it, and then you see these kind of connectors, that's for really old TVs back in the day. I just screw down these wires, but they're very thin. Hopefully that will work, but of course this kind of solution is susceptible to noise and the potential bad picture. Now, since this is analog RF signal, I need to tune my TV, and according to Google, channel 3 is 61.25 megahertz, so I just need to find that. Anyway, I moved to channel 4 now. Let's see, it should be like 66. Yes. Yeah, that's very poor quality, even for RF. I'm gonna try some fine tuning here. Doesn't get any better. Well, I can't get it any better than this, and it's no wonder, you know, it's not shielded or anything, this cable arrangement. Anyway, the keyboard. Yeah, there's the issue. You're supposed to press any key to begin, but not any key makes it continue, so it doesn't matter. Turn it on again, and yeah, if I push really hard, no, nothing happens. And it's kind of strange that all the keys stopped working at the same time. I mean, you could have some bad keys, but this must be an issue somewhere else. So I think we just need to open up this machine right away. But other than that, the machine works. Let's test the cartridge game. Yeah, of course you need to press any key then too, so that doesn't help. If I remember it correctly, this machine has a very massive metal shielding or case which is surrounding the motherboard, and it's quite a job to remove it and to assemble it again afterwards. Yeah, let's see if we can open this. I think it needs to open reversed. Yes, and the power switch. Yeah, it's the power switch that keeps it. Yeah, here you go. There's this plastic bracket here. Yeah, and here we have it. This massive shielding. It even has bolts that goes through to the other side of the case of the motherboard. So that's the keyboard. It sits firmly there. We have some screws. This is the power supply. I wonder if this can be replaced with something more modern. I would really like to have at least one of these TI machines usable with a modern power supply. Yeah, it has plus and minus 5 volts and plus 12 volts. That makes it a little bit difficult. I don't have any power supplies that has minus 5 volts. And then the keyboard sits screwed down with 4 screws. Now the cable for the keyboard looks kind of sturdy, so I don't think it's because of that. I don't think there's any break in that. Let's remove the motherboard case here. It has a couple of screws that holds it down to the actual case. There's here in the motherboard itself. Yeah, now it's loose. Now we can remove the whole thing. Yeah, here's the bolts. Yeah, they have nuts and they go through the whole case here. And you take off this part here. And this, too complicated. I don't know why there's 2 bolts there, but nowhere else. Yeah, there's one over here too. That's a much smaller one. Oh yeah, you need to take off the cartridge connector. And there flew a little part. What was that? That was a little washer. Alright, so here we have it. The motherboard. Yeah, so that's the big 16-bit CPU. It's the TMS-9900. And that's yeah, the same CPU that was used in like these mainframes back in the day, early mainframes. I'm not sure if those were early, but so the keyboard is disconnected. And you have all these white strips going here, and what was that again? It's not resistors, is it? They're soldered to the board. Is it like some kind of shielding? So I guess this is the graphics chip, the TMS-9918 or something. And it's cooled down by this big lump of metal. Anyway, I'm gonna concentrate on the keyboard now and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. I'm pretty sure the connector and the cable is okay. Connector here too. So either there's something wrong with some I/O chip on the motherboard, or the complete membrane of the keyboard is destroyed somehow. But is that even possible to open up? Yes, it is. There's a bunch of screws and some brackets. I guess these screws here go through the bracket and into the keyboard below, so we might need to remove those. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have to. So much metal in this machine. No wonder it was expensive and couldn't compete with other computers. Well, I think it was quite popular in the United States. I'm not really sure. The alpha lock key seems to be soldered in. Well, it doesn't only seems to be, it is. So I need to solder that. And as usual, to make it harder on repair technicians, they bent the wires around. And I guess I need to be quick so that the key underneath doesn't melt. They just bent around some pins sticking out. Alright, let's open up this. That could be a surprise. You never know what's going to happen when you lift this back cover. Does a lot of springs and stuff fall out? No, I don't think so. Yes, alright, we have this kind of membrane. That's not good news, I guess, because I think this cannot be cleaned or repaired in any way. It's not like on other keyboards where you have metal contacts and then the key itself is conductive and then it pushes down. This seems to be simply like a plastic membrane, but why isn't it working? I don't see any breaks or anything. I guess the PCB underneath is just regular copper traces, and then the actual membrane is somehow glued down to the PCB here, and the contact goes there. I'm gonna hook up the keyboard and test the machine like it is now and see if anything happens. So if I try to touch one of the keys, yes, now it actually works. 1 for basic. Huh. Actually works. That's kind of strange. Why didn't it work with the actual keys? Every key is working. So when this goes into the keyboard, what does actually happen? No, nothing. Yeah, I think it's like they can't reach down. Are the springs worn out? They can't reach down. The one key, nothing. But if I push here, it works. Huh. So that's strange. Let me just pull one out and see. Oh, that's one big spring, and then we have the plunger. And it has a spring and a rubber part. Now you can see it better. So we can take off the rubber part like this. I think, yes. And then we have a spring here. This spring is quite stiff. If I try to lengthen it a little bit, it's not worn out as far as I can see. The actual part in the middle here is quite hard. Pretty poor keyboard design. No. It doesn't actually reach. It can't push hard enough. What if I take the key plunger and try to push it down? Yeah, I don't have to push it far either. So I was thinking a little bit, I don't think anything has changed with the actual keys. I mean, this is good quality rubber. Seems like nothing has worn off or anything, and the springs are probably as they were. I could of course extend these rubber pads or make the springs stiffer, but I think really the problem lies in the membrane, that it is less sensitive now. Need more force to activate the key, and this membrane, it can actually be taken off. I actually saw a video about it on YouTube, and you just use some heat, take it off, and then revive the actual pads or the contacts under it. So that's what I'm trying to attempt now. Of course, if I'm not careful, I might destroy this membrane. The TI-99 4A actually used different kinds of keyboards. This is the Mitsumi variant. There's other variants with other mechanisms, and yeah, let's see if we can fix this. I mean, it's risky, but risk is my middle name, isn't it? Just gonna use my heat gun here and have it on low heat. Let's try 110 degrees first. Yeah, maybe I heat it from behind as well, just to get heat through the PCB and not directly on the plastic. Apparently it takes a lot of heat. I just need to be gentle, pull a little by little. I guess I need to be extra careful around here where the actual contacts go to the PCB. Almost there. The whole thing is loose except here. There must be some extra glue there, I guess. Well, I kept it going for at least 15-20 minutes, and this part here, it won't let go. Heated and heated, and I'm scared to melt the plastic. Anyway, I don't think I need to take it completely off. What I really wanted to do is to clean up the contacts underneath and the pads here, because I think these are oxidized and making a bad contact. So I'm just using a little contact cleaner on a Q-tip. And yeah, the metal part here on the PCB, it looks alright, but it's these ones. And these are probably some kind of carbon material, so you don't want to rub too hard. Yeah, a little bit came off. Yes, so I'm gonna clean off all of these and then I'll be back. Yeah, I'm just using a little bit of regular IPA and clean over the actual PCB. There's no need to glue this down again, it sits nicely there. Alright, let's see if this did anything. I have high hopes. Yeah, it already pressed something. Press 1 for TI Basic. Yes! Look at that. Keyboard is fixed. How nice. At least all the keys I'm pressing. Maybe you don't see it properly on the screen, but yeah, everything works. Excellent. Yeah, that was what I call the easy fix, although a little bit time consuming. The keyboard is very dirty in between all the keycaps, so I think I'll use the opportunity here to just take all the keycaps off and clean up the whole thing. Should be fairly quick. Yeah, as usual, the space bar is a little bit different with this metal support. And perhaps a bigger spring, a heftier spring, yes. So I keep it separately then. And the alpha lock just pulls right out. Yes, and yeah, kind of dirty. I'm gonna take everything down now and clean it up. Then I'll be back. So while the keys are drying, we need to do something with this. I cannot have a poor picture like that. That's no good. So I'm gonna make a cable. And for that I need a 5-pin DIN connector like that. And a cable with perhaps up to 5 wires. I don't know. I need to find a pinout for the video output connector. And here we can see that the US version has 5 pins and the European version has 6 pins. So yeah, that's the difference. And the US version is quite simple. It has a plus 12 volts, ground, audio and composite video. Number 5 is not connected, so I need 4 wires then. But I wonder what that plus 12 volt is gonna do. Yeah, of course it's for powering the RF modulator perhaps, so it's not going to be used on my TV, so I think I don't need to connect that either. So then we only need ground, audio and composite. Yeah, I found a couple of cables, not one cable but 2 different ones, one for audio, one for video. I'm just going to use those. I could, of course, go to the shop and buy a dedicated cable, audio-video cable, but it's closed now. I want to do this tonight. I just cut them to the same length, but I just make sure I keep a little piece of the cable on this contact in case I need it later. Yeah, obviously the reason I am using two audio cables when the machine is mono is because I want to feed the mono signal into both left and the right channels. So now I'm just going to splice up the ends here for the ground and then solder it to the contact. One very important task before I start is to thread on the cap here before I solder it on. So I don't forget it. Yeah, so I spliced together the wires. These are the 3 ground wires. This is the 2 audio wires, and this is the lonely video wire. Little drop of flux. Then we have the slight issue understanding the pinout. Is it seen from behind the contact or in front of the contact? And that makes a difference because that will reverse it. I need to figure that out. I don't take my chances on gambling one or the other way. Often these pinouts are also wrong, so I'm simply gonna measure what's the 12 volt, and the 12 volt should be on pin 1. If that's pin 1 there, then we should find 12 volts here. No, so that means 12 volt is probably on that side instead. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's 12 volt because there's no 5 volts out on this. So then I know pin 1 is to the right, seen from this side. And that actually corresponds with the picture I found. I actually hate soldering DIN connectors. Not that it's so very complex, but it's very fiddly. You need 2 hands. You need to hold the contact while you're soldering. So the ground is then gonna go into the middle pin there. Just need to fix it with these helping hands so it stays stable. And you need to be quick because you can melt the plastic and then the pin's gonna be moving away. Use a little bit of fresh solder then. Yeah, that should be enough. Yeah, that's solid. So now for the audio. Yeah, and then the last one, the video connection there. It's gonna go to pin number 4. Yeah, that's solid. All right. Yeah, let's see now if this works. Just to show you the effort, then I just close this cable retainer here. Not too hard, I don't want to destroy the cable. And for this plastic sleeving to hold, you need to bend up this tab before you place it back. Yes, all right, let's test. One end into the machine and the other end into my TV, and I have a SCART adapter for this. Hopefully I didn't connect the 12 volt here. I don't think so. I mean, if I reversed the audio and the 12 volt, then I'll probably break my TV, and that's why I'm gonna measure it before I hook it up. See that I don't have any DC voltage here. No, and let's see if all the grounds are connected. Yes, and yes. All right, we're good to go. Yeah, if you have a TV with a SCART input, you can use an adapter like this. You find these everywhere online or in TV shops. Yes, perfect. That's something else. Nice. And it's a pretty good picture for composite video. I mean, there's a little bit of bleeding between the black and blue, but that's normal. You almost never get away with that. Very nice. Now I can throw away this old RF modulator thingy. Yeah, nice picture and good colors. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that's the max. Little bit of bleeding, but not much. Just need to mark this cable. I have so many video cables now. I have a big drawer full of video cables to all sorts of computers, consoles. The keyboard cleaned up nicely. Just gonna assemble it before I continue with this video with something else. Yeah, it's a little bit work, time consuming, but you do it in yeah, 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then need to fit this into the two holes and the key. Yeah, so I push them harder whenever I install the back plate here. Yeah, that looks good. Now to attach this with the loose membrane that way. Yes. And now for the little screws. I gambled that all the keys now are working and that I don't have to separate this again, but you never know. It's not that many screws, only 15. And then the alpha lock key needs to be soldered back in. Yeah, let me test this now with a revived keyboard and a good picture on the TV. This starts to look good. Press any key. That's this one. Press 1 for basic. Okay, I'm gonna run through all the keys. And I almost don't have to touch them at all. Yeah, I'm barely touching the key. Works very, very good. It's strange, the lowercase characters are like the uppercase characters, except they're smaller. And the space. All the keys are working. Nice. Alright, since there isn't anything bad with this machine except the keyboard that's already fixed, I thought I'd just clean it up a bit to make it shine and be like new again. And then we'll test some games, and I also want to test that modern expansion unit. First, I'm just gonna test one game here, Tombstone City. And on this machine, things doesn't just start up. You need to press any key, and then you get the second menu selection. Yeah, I did test the audio. Yeah, audio's working nicely. And it's quite loud too. Press aid for rules. What the heck is aid? Yes, I'm just doing some cleanup on this machine before I continue. I'm gonna clean up the motherboard. I'm trying to scrape off this old heat compound here. It's very hard. Also gonna clean up the case and make it shine again. Yeah, this is the GPU, or the VDP, the video display processor, I think it's called. Yeah, it's TI-9918. Yeah, this is the variant that actually produces composite video right from the chip. Alright, then I just do some regular cleaning all over the board, all the chips, with some alcohol. Yeah, I do the same on the power supply board as well. Power switch needs a little bit of cleaning. Well, it doesn't need it, but it can benefit from it. Some contact cleaner. And then the rest of the contacts. It's not easy to reach down to it, so I just use a little bit of paper and push it up and down with some contact cleaner. Yeah, I think that's it for maintenance of this board. I could obviously replace the capacitors, but they all seem to be fine, and since they're axial variants, it's not easy to find replacements. So I leave them. Just gonna add some new fresh thermal compound. Yeah, I need to clean off this side too. The shielding, it looks fine. There's a few scattered dots that seems to be beginning of rust, but very little. I think I just use a little bit WD-40 and rub over it, and that's it. Alright, that was it for the cleaning. I'm just gonna assemble this strange contraption here. Dust everywhere. Supposed to fit onto that. Yeah, just need to get it right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for the keyboard I forgot those metal rails there. So now the keyboard can be assembled. Yeah, quite complicated, this one. Okay, now it can go back. Yeah, and the screws for the keyboard, 4 of them. Then I had to unscrew the motherboard and the stuff there. And of course the bracket for the power switch needs to be mounted correctly for the 3rd time. Yes, why not? I worked on this. Finally. That was it. The computer is assembled. There's some scuff marks here and there. I'm not really sure if they can be removed. So that was a quick and easy restoration and keyboard fix. What can we actually do with this computer? Well, it has BASIC, so you can program it, and the original BASIC was a little bit limited, so they actually made an extended BASIC, which is a cartridge. And number 2, I got this expansion card, which uses CF card as a memory, and you can run programs and stuff from that, like a floppy disk drive. And there's other features here as well. And this is the NanoPEB, which is a PEB-emulator. I haven't really seen this anywhere. I came across it by chance. I mean, I was lucky. I got in contact with a guy that knew another guy that could sell me this from the United States, and I got it. I've tested it briefly in another video, but let's take a look at the BASIC and what's the difference between the original BASIC and the extended BASIC. So obviously if you just press 1 here, you go into BASIC and you can start programming the original BASIC right away. And the original BASIC that comes with the machine is called TI-basic. Let's make a little small program for that. So I'm actually typing in a fairly large program here just to get the feel of it. It's supposed to draw a star, but line 5100 came out with incorrect statement. By the way, if you want to play around with the TI-99 4A basic, then there's an emulator that's made in JavaScript, runs in the browser. It's jas99er.net. So the program I was supposed to write is this. I just pasted it right into the emulator here, instead of typing it fully into the machine, because I obviously did some mistakes. So let's run this. It's supposed to draw a star. This machine doesn't have particularly good graphics routines in BASIC, so you need to use characters. And I think you can redefine characters so that you can sort of make graphics like this. Not very good. This is not the extended BASIC. However, with the extended BASIC cartridge, you get a lot more features to BASIC. Let's check it out. The boot is still the same, but you get a second choice here for TI Extended BASIC number 2. So you still have the original BASIC in the machine. Yeah, now it just says ready. So there's a few things extra here regarding graphics. You can use a graphics mode 2, which contains bitmap screens and sprites and colors, and you can define shapes and direct drawing commands. Let's try a little example here from ChatGPT. I'm still not fully familiar with the editor here. Yeah, so this is the little program. First it clears the screen on line 10, then it calls magnify to make the sprite double the size, then it redefines character 96 with a hexadecimal string that contains the bitmap for the sprite. Then you call sprite number 1, and the last line is 50 go to 50, just so that it keeps itself in graphics mode and doesn't break out of the program. So let's run this then. Yeah, and that's the sprite. I drew it myself. Actually, I found the sprite editor online. Yeah, sorry about filming the screen. It makes a pretty bad picture, but yeah, it's on FSIO projects TI-99 4A sprite painter, and here you can draw one or more sprites. So it seems you can combine 4 sprites into one large, and then it just generates the hexadecimal strings for you. What if we say 20 magnify 4? Yeah, that didn't seem to work. No, it actually shows 4 characters. If we don't magnify at all, remove line 20. Yeah, then it's much smaller. But still, the graphics mode and what you can do in BASIC is a little bit limited and quite complicated if you want to draw lines and stuff like that. Yeah, same way as the Commodore 64, you needed to use poke commands to directly set values into the graphics memory. Now, if we try the same sprite program in TI Basic, not the extended, let's see what happens then. That's the same program. Let's run it. Yeah, it says bad name in 20. So the magnify command isn't there. Remove line 20. It says incorrect statement in 30. So that's the call char. All right, that was about the basic. Let's check out this PEB extension, the NanoPEB, and it emulates the original PEB, the large box that you could get for this machine back in the day. So if I turn on the machine now, it's not happy. Oops. That's not good. I haven't tested this for a couple of years. It's blinking red and yellow. Yes, I know, I remember you need to power this externally. There's a jack there for a 5-volt input. Alright, so we better do that then. This is center positive. Yeah, now it lights up. Turn on the machine. Yeah, now it's more happy. Yeah, and here we see on the boot screen it says NanoPEB F18 V1, and we still have the extended basic installed. I'm gonna go into that. That's strange. Doesn't want to load extended basic, just change the screen color. Yeah, it simply crashed. I can't even reset it with function reset. Does it work with regular basic then? Yes. Anyway, what this does is you can load stuff from that memory card, obviously. So I'm not going to go into all the details about this NanoPEB that requires its own video, I think. But supposedly it is divided into 10 devices, so you need to mount it first into BASIC. So you call mount, and then you say which drive you want to mount into which device. So 1,1. Yeah, and that worked without error. And now you can run these commands like format and stuff like that. Not going to do that. It's call format 1 if you want to format volume 1. To show the directory on one of the floppies, there's actually no command for that. You need to have a program or write a fairly long program to list the contents of a drive. And I have one already from before on this volume 1. And the load command is actually not load, it's old. And you specify the drive dsk1.filename. And the file name of the basic program I'm going to load is catalog. So it now loaded that into basic. We can list it. So as you can see, it's quite a big program. You need to open a channel to the drive and input data from it and stuff like that. Let's run it. Master is 1 to 3. Well, it's 1. So here's the files then on that one. Wasn't a lot. I think I have some files on this memory card from before. Let's see if we can mount the second into one. It was called mount 1.2. And then we have the same program, so we can just run it. Yes, here we have something, asteroids, some games. If we try to load dsk1.asteroids, check program in memory, that's probably not the right way if that's a binary program, not basic. I managed to start extended basic now. I don't know why it didn't load the first time, but this is extended basic, and supposedly it should have a call dir to list the directory. However, that's in later versions of extended basic as I understand it, so it doesn't work here. But back to the games, these are obviously dumps from cartridges, and it's not trivial to load the binary files into the computer from disk. There isn't any routine or command to do that. By the way, you can mount several of the 10 floppy disk volumes into the machine at the same time. To actually be able to load some of these binary files into memory and run them, you need something more. You need a mini memory cartridge, or you need editor and assembler support. So you need to load the editor assemblers first to be able to load the binary files, and then you can actually execute them. But I don't have any editor/assemblers, so I'm not able to do that now. Anyway, if we can't load any machine code games or programs, then we can still load the basic stuff. So I have another partition or volume mounted as number 3. What's on this then? Yeah, 3D, bar graph, fill tune, Mozart, Susanna. Okay, let's try Susanna. Yes, that's for sure basic. Run. Ah, some music and graphics. I think it's just some kind of demo. Anyway, remember that this machine came out in 1979, and yeah, for 1979 I think these graphics were quite good, to be honest. Oh, Susanna. Yeah. Taco Man sounds exciting. Taco Man. Alright, for next error. Alright, this is extended basic. I didn't load extended basic now. Let's see if I have something on number 5. Bad value in 310. Yeah, this is another volume freeway. Probably extended basic, that one too. Yep, strange characters. Problem is I can't run the extended basic now anymore with NanoPEB. It simply won't start. It started a few times before, but not anymore. I mean, I could try. I tried several times, but it just hangs. I figured out what's happening with Googling a bit more. If you have mounted a drive and then it has the load program on, the machine will actually try an auto boot from that, and that's what's actually happening now. If you press brake, now I'm in extended basic, you actually see the program, but it doesn't complete. So I'm not sure what's supposed to happen here. If I try to mount, this is just trial and error. Try 1 as disk 2. And then, because the mounts, they stick, they are set in the NanoPEB. Even if you power off the machine, it is still mounted. So now if you press 2 and go to extended basic, it tries to boot from the volume number 2. And now it actually worked, because I had apparently a disk that doesn't auto boot. So there's nothing wrong, in fact. Remember, now we're in extended basic. So this is what it tried to boot from now, and since there's no load command on this disk, it doesn't auto boot. Still, we're not able to run these. However, now we should be able to load the extended basic programs. Here we have those programs that's in extended basic. So let's try DSK 3.freeway then. So now it should list and run. Yes. All right. Yes, we want instructions. Which one do you like? Yeah, I like the car. It's very slow to respond. There. Use joystick number 1. Okay, now I can test the joystick. So these awful looking joysticks here. Just insert it. Let's see what's number 1 then. There's no numbers on them. Just try. Press any key to start. Let's see now. Let's take it easy. And I pressed 1, but nothing happens for a long time. Since you need to hold in the key you want to select. Okay, some kind of racing game. Nothing happens on that joystick. Let's try the other one. Yeah, okay. Now I can control it. You just want to cross over. Yeah, it looks like some kind of a Frogger clone of some sort. But it's so damn slow to respond. Okay. Let's see now, can we make it? Yes! It's kind of cool. It's loading pretty quickly from the NanoPEB. Okay, here we can select keys or joystick. The joystick will control the ships, blah blah blah, press fire. For something, yeah, I see a ship, I can shoot, but I can't move. And there's another ship. So you see what the machine is capable using basic, but it is more capable than that. Let's try a real game, parsec. From a cartridge. 2 for parsec. Press any key to begin. Doesn't use the joystick. Yeah, it uses the joystick, but it's the joystick is really bad. I can move down but not up, so it definitely has an issue. Let's hear some of the sounds. Yes, so that was it for my adventure with this Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. Fun little machine. It has its limitations and it's a strange machine. There's a lot of things that's kind of unusual and cumbersome compared to other machines, but we still need to remember that this came in 1979, so that was quite early. So still fun to work with old machines of any kind. Hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching, and thanks to my Patreons. If you want to support me at Patreon, then just go to my Patreon page and you will get to see videos early and without ads. Bye bye then, and don't forget to subscribe.